Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Obviously, right as I start the video, my cat appears, so hopefully she doesn't turn off the mic or anything. We'll hope for the best, but today I want to share with you a tag video. I have been tagged in this one many months ago, and I'm very sorry that I'm only getting to it right now. I must be honest, I was a little bit scared of this tag because I don't know if I have like any good answers for it. You will be the judge of that. You let me know at the end of the video. Now, what are you up to? So I was tagged by Raf. I will link his channel down below. You should definitely go check him out, as I have said before in like other videos. I think that we have like very different styles of videos, and Raf is so much better at doing like very deep dives into topics that are extremely important and interesting. And he's just a very knowledgeable person, which I do not consider myself that, especially when it comes to books. And so yeah, definitely check out his channel and also his tag video, because honestly, from his answers, I almost didn't know any of the books. So yeah, our answers are very different, but sometimes that's also really fun to like broaden the horizon and get new perspectives. So this is the Spring into Adventure tag, and this tag is about adventure books, and that's the reason why I was kind of like scared of it, because like I don't think I read adventure books. So I have been trying really hard that not every single one of my answers is The Lord of the Rings. However, I can't make promises that not most of my answers are The Lord of the Rings. So I did try to like mix it up a little bit, but you just have to like bear with me. I just realized I don't read adventure books like at all, which is weird because I looked at my like story graph little statistics, and adventurous is one of the tags kind of for the books I have been reading for this year that comes up most often. So I guess a lot of books, especially like fantasy books, are tagged as adventurous, but I would not say that's the same thing as an adventure book. I don't know. So this is like all over the place. You can already tell it's all over the place, and I have rambled on for long enough. So let's get into the questions. The first question is, what's your favorite adventure book? And I'm stretching the term a little bit because, yeah, like my favorite adventure book is The Lord of the Rings. Let's get that out of the way. I absolutely love The Lord of the Rings. It's like what made me into a fantasy reader. I am obsessed with it. I love it. I had like posters. I watched the movies religiously all the time. It's Lord of the Rings. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. I have two other books where I'm stretching it a little bit. One I thought of is Nettle and Bone by Kingfisher. I feel like the characters are definitely going on an adventure in this one, because we have a princess who has to complete like some impossible tasks to save her sister from an abusive marriage. But the whole like tasks thing is just like very at the start of the book, because the idea is she went to this like witch to get help for her adventure, and the witch didn't want to go, so she gave her those tasks to be like, yeah, now she's like out of my hair, I don't have to worry about it. But then she comes back and she has completed the tasks, and now the witch has to help her on her journey, on her adventure. They're taking a demon chicken and a bone dog and this like warrior guy, and it's fantastic. I love this book so much. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that one. And then another one that, yeah, was stretching things a little bit would be Spear Cuts Through Water. And I think that something that I also like associate with adventure is like going on a journey, it kind of being dangerous, and there being like some kind of like a discovery. And I would say with like Spear Cuts Through Water, the discoveries are much more internal. Like these characters have to figure out who they are and what they're doing, basically, like in a broader sense. So maybe if you want to say that, then this one could count as well. In this one, we follow basically two warriors who have to transport the body of a goddess through a falling empire. And it's fantastic. Like, I have been gushing about this book. I have been mentioning it every single chance that I get, so I had to squeeze it in here as well. Second question, what's the newest, most recently published adventure book you've read? And I think for me personally, that would probably be James by Percival Everett. This is a retelling of Huckleberry Finn, so I guess you have that like adventure thing to it. However, we're following a different character. We're following this runaway slave called James, and he is trying to find a way to save his family from slavery. And while he's doing that, he is going on this adventure with Huckleberry Finn. And yeah, I think the perspective change is like very, very important to this work, because yeah, for Huckleberry Finn, this is just a fun adventure. Like, he's just like running away from his aunt because he doesn't want to be there anymore. But for James, this is a life and death situation. Like, for him, this is not fun, and yeah, he has to like hide a lot of himself and change a lot of himself to stay safe and to make it till the end. And so it's like a very different adventure in that sense. The third question is, what's the oldest or earliest published adventure book you've read? Now, I have one that I read as a kid, and then I reread it a couple of years ago, and I was like so confused, because this was one of my favorite books when I was a child, and it's fucking boring. It's like one of the most boring things I have read in my adult life, and I think that my child brain just like invented a lot of story that wasn't actually in the book to make it interesting. I don't know. I don't understand this, but the book is called The Pilot, A Tale of the Sea, and this was published in 1824, so I don't know which part of my childhood brain connected with that, but it's so boring. Like, I would say do not read it. If we go for a book I would actually still recommend, you have been waiting for it, it is The Hobbit. Yeah. I just love The Hobbit. Like, I love The Hobbit so much. I just reread it at the beginning of the year, and it was so nice. That leads us to the next question, is who is your favorite adventure book author? And it's Tolkien. It's Tolkien, because I don't really read adventure books anymore, so has to go to Tolkien. What's your favorite film adaptation of an adventure book? Yeah, it's The Lord of the Rings, like duh. Like, I don't know how many times I have seen these movies. I have the extended versions on DVD. Now the cat is stepping on the laptop and probably turning off the mic, which is lovely. And yeah, I'm obsessed with The Lord of the Rings. So I just love it. I love it. The way she just managed to delete the questions from my little notes thing. Glorious. And then we have another movie I wanted to mention, and again, I'm stretching things a little bit to make this work, but as I said before, for me a lot of adventure is like a certain sense of danger, of like journey, and of discovery. And if we take this into a more academic sense, then I would say Arrival is also one. It might not feel like the classical adventure, but I think that, like, yeah, it kind of fits for me, and I love Arrival. So if you haven't heard of it, it's based on a short story by Ted Chiang, which is amazing. And yeah, Arrival is a movie about aliens coming to Earth, and we're following a linguist, so a scientist basically, who meets with these aliens and is trying to figure out what they're doing there. And so this movie and the short story also has a lot of like this kind of learning from each other thing that I think would be great if it was in more adventure books. Then we have number 6, who's your favorite adventure book character? I do have a basic answer again, which is Bilbo. Bilbo in The Hobbit is just so relatable. I think like the idea of adventure is always much more enticing than being in an adventure at the time. And I think Bilbo encapsulates that perfectly because he is so uncomfortable a lot of the times and he will not shut up about it. And he will be like, I just want to be in my chair, in front of the fire, in my own house. Like, I do not want to be here. And I think that, yeah, adventure does kind of feel like that. But then I have two characters that are a little bit like stretch again, but I have Morgan Crow from the Nevermore books. I think that books written for a younger audience always feel more adventurous in a way, and yeah, I love the Nevermore series. And in the first book, Morgan is a young girl. I think she's about to turn 11 or 12, and she has always been told that she will die on her 12th birthday, I believe, and so she gets instead swept away to this world she never knew was there, and she is kind of plunged into this magical tournament. So we definitely have this element of like Morgan Crow going to a world she didn't even know existed and exploring that world and making new friends, and yeah, also learning a lot about herself and her what can I say, like her powers in a way. So yeah, really love Morgan. She is an amazing character for younger readers. And then another one, this again goes more into this like scientific direction, and I wouldn't really say this book is like an adventure book, but it does have like adventure elements. And that character is Luan Tia. I'm sorry if I completely butchered that, but this is a character in the Dandelion Dynasty series who is like a very intellectual kind of person, but he is looking for discoveries like outside the realm of what he knows. And he does not always do good, because yeah, he doesn't always think through the consequences of the things he will be discovering. But yeah, he just can't sit still. He wants to like improve the world and better the world by like finding out what's out there, I guess. So in that sense, for me, he is like an adventurous character. Number 7 is, do you prefer fiction or non-fiction adventure books? I don't even know if I've ever read a non-fiction adventure book. Fiction. Fiction all the way for me. Then we have, do you consider yourself adventurous? Why or why not? I would say sometimes. I always think that there's kind of like two parts to my personality. I have like one part that usually dominates, that just wants to be comfortable on the couch like Bilbo and just read books, stay at home, see no one, cuddle the cat. That's like most of my personality. But I do have a part of me that can get restless. I love traveling. I love meeting new people. I do enjoy like going out there and seeing what's out there. So yeah, sometimes I'm adventurous. I would say that I have gone on adventures, and I am now like dipping all of my toes into solo traveling. So that is kind of adventurous, but most of the time I'm not. Then we have number 9. What's your favorite genre to combine with the adventure genre? And my favorite genre is fantasy, so yeah, fantasy. And then we have number 10. Do you play or have ever played adventure-themed games? And I'm not a games person. I'm sorry. I much prefer watching people playing games than playing games myself. I'm a lurker. I have tried as a teenager to play one of those like Lord of the Rings video games, and I got stuck at the like weird creature from the lake in front of like the portal to Moria. Is that what you call it in English as well? Yeah, seems to be the English title as well. Because a lot of like the names in Lord of the Rings, they're different in German and English. So sometimes it's like very confusing for me. So for example, Rivendell in German is Bruchtal, and Tolkien was like very, very particular about the way he wanted his books to be translated, because language was such an important thing for him. So I guess apart from that, I haven't really played like any adventure games or anything like that. And I told you like all my answers would be Lord of the Rings. So what did you expect? And so the last question is to tag someone, and I'm gonna tag two people who might or might not do this eventually at some point in a couple of months. The first one would be Clio, because I would like her to come up with like adventure books, because yeah, I know Cleo's reading taste and I think she would have answers for that. But I think she would also struggle a little bit, as I'm doing. And then I would also love to tag Jess, because she is my like booktube twin basically, so maybe she would have like some real good recommendations that I need to check out as well for this one. So I will link both of their channels down below. I highly recommend you go check them out, they're amazing people. And yeah, with that we have come to the end of this video. I hope it was somewhat enjoyable. I feel like I just rambled about Lord of the Rings, but it's not that bad. Like, I don't mention Lord of the Rings a lot on my channel, even though it is like one of the most important series I've ever read in my life. So I feel like it deserved a spot, and here it had one. So let me know, what's your favorite adventure story, adventure book, adventure movie? Would love to hear about that, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!